together was at 8:30 this morning. And I just love how, you know, it always clicks. There's like this great alchemy spirit that happens just right over here, and I just love to watch it. So thank you guys. Beautiful, beautiful. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. This is the day we celebrate love. Isn't that wonderful? And I'm so grateful that we're here together on Valentine's Day. I looked up, you know, I have a history background, so I looked up some history of Valentine's Day. Not much is actually known about Valentine's Day. They think that there were multiple bishops and Saint Valentines, but they think that Valentine's Day was named after the Saint Valentine, who was actually arrested by the Roman government and put to death for marrying Roman soldiers. Roman soldiers were not allowed to be married because the emperor determined that they made better soldiers if they never had sex, which I think we can all relate to. You're much more aggressive now. So they prohibited Roman soldiers from marrying. But soft-hearted Valentine, Bishop Valentine, secretly married them, was caught, and was put to death for it. So in the 5th century, the Pope named February 14th as Saint Valentine's Day in honor of this kind of soft-hearted saint. And it's put that day to Christianize the Roman pagan festival of Lupercalia, which was this raucous, raunchy, like fertility festival. So the reason it was placed on February 14th is to try to Christianize that Roman festival. It became more of a holiday in the 1300s when it was noticed in Great Britain that marked the opening day of birds' mating season. And so that kind of contributed more to it. And then by the 17th century in Great Britain, people started this new thing of love letter writing. And they would write love letters, but remember they weren't all that literate, so the love letters fit on something about this size, so they were cards. And that's how it started in Great Britain. And then American settlers, or British settlers to America, brought that over here. The first mass-produced greeting card was in 1840, and we were off to the races after that in 1840. So today, I couldn't remember all these stats, so I have a little cheat sheet here. Today, 1 billion cards are sent on Valentine's Day, second only to Christmas as the greatest card-giving holiday. 35 million heart-shaped boxes of candy are purchased. 220 million roses are given. 6 million couples get engaged on Valentine's Day, and overall it contributes 20 billion, with a B, dollars to the American economy. So we like love. We like love, don't we? We love love. And we love showing love. Here's the interesting thing about Valentine's Day. I think sometimes we have this great outward display of love as a way to make up for something that we don't know we already have within us. We give these outward symbols of love because we forget that it's already bubbling up inside of us, and we're hoping that if we give to you, then you'll give back to us to fill that within us. Isn't that the hopeless romantic ethic anyway? I mean, the whole you complete me thing. We're complete already. We don't need anyone else to complete us. And I'm not dissing love. I love love. You guys already sung my Valentine up here. It'd be wonderful. But anyway, so love is a great thing. But we sometimes get it wrong. We get it backwards. Because we are looking for love in a partner to make up for the love we don't know we have. And that's kind of a hopeless catch-22, because if I don't feel the love already and I'm waiting for someone else to bring it to me, they're destined to fail by the very law of attraction that brings that person to me. Because they're looking to me then to feel something in them. And that just is never going to work. No one else can be that for someone else all the time. I mean, as long as things are going well and that person is acting exactly like I think I want them to, then love is wonderful. But on those darn pesky occasions when my partner decides to be his own self and not agree with me and not do everything I say and not pick up the socks, then on those pesky occasions, love isn't so hot, is it? So the thing we have to remember about love is that we have to love ourselves first. We have to have so much love for ourselves that comes from is that we have so much already that we give it away, not that we need something from someone else. So take a minute right now and feel love. Don't think about it. Don't make a checklist of all the things you appreciate in your life. Feel in your body where love lives. Probably near the heart, but not always. Mine's in my solar plexus. So we want to nurture that. We want to walk through our days feeling that all the time. Not just when we stop to be conscious of it, but have that operate and be the motive power in our lives. And we do that by being our own Valentine. All the things that we want to do on this day for someone else to anchor their love for us and make sure that we don't lose their love for us and make sure they know how much we appreciate and love, and usually, unfortunately, that also means need them. We want to do that for ourselves so that we don't have that need. So that we know that that love is always within us and we share it freely and openly, not waiting for someone else to give it, but rather waiting for someone to share our love with, that we can give it away to. So how do we do that? The first thing we have to do, we have to romance ourselves. Romance ourselves. When was the last time you romanced yourself? When was the last time you bought yourself flowers? Or a box of chocolate? Or took yourself to a nice dinner? We don't usually do this. And we kind of feel silly and indulgent doing it. I mean, I know I do. The other day, there were some beautiful flowers, and I almost stopped to pick them up. Now, my husband loves flowers. He used to be a flower designer, loves flowers. I almost rationalized doing it to bring them to him. But I didn't even know if he'd like them or appreciate them, or he'd know what they were. But I wanted them. I talked myself out of it because it felt frivolous. Why do we do that? Why shouldn't I have said, I love me, and these flowers are beautiful. I'm going to bring them home to me. And Steve can enjoy them if he wants, but they're for me. How many of you guys read the book or saw the movie or both, Eat, Pray, Love? Quite a few. For those of you who didn't, it's Elizabeth Gilbert is the author. She was played by Judy Roberts in the movie. She had ended a marriage, and then right after her marriage ended, she got right into another relationship, which fits the pattern. If we're hurting and we feel like love is lost and there's not any love in here, we look for someone else. Oh, husband A didn't do it. Let's see if we can plug husband B in. Maybe he'll do better. Or maybe husband C will work. So she got right into another relationship that ended disastrously. And she wisely then decided that she wasn't going to just keep repeating this pattern. She decided she was going to learn to fall in love with herself. So for those of you who know the story, know that she took a year off and did nothing but really romance herself. Now, it helped that she had a big book advance, and I know we don't all have big book advances to go live in Italy for 4 months and eat anything we want, and then go to India. That was the eat, of course. She went to India then and was in prayer and meditation and contemplation for 4 months, and then went to Bali, where she finally learned to take responsibility for her own emotions and met the man she ultimately married. She was romancing herself. Now, we can't all take a year off and travel the world, but we can romance ourselves. We can eat really good food, really yummy food, because we want to, not because we have to make it for someone else. We can go out and buy ourselves those flowers. We can do that thing that makes us feel really awesome. That thing, that thing you wish your partner would do for you? Or that thing you wish your parents had done when you were little? Go ahead. What's stopping you? Romance yourself. Love yourself. Really indulge yourself. We teach here that we are made in the image and likeness of God, and that we all have a unique gift to give, and that we are put on this earth to share that gift with humanity. And we say those words, and when I say them, I see a lot of nods and yeses. And then when it comes time to act, like I'm an emanation of God and I deserve the best because I am part of God and I am one with that divine being and I have a unique gift to give, how many of us go, well, maybe not. Maybe that's a little indulgent and I shouldn't do it. Learn to romance yourself. Learn to romance yourself. The other way we can be our own Valentine is we can honor our creativity. There's an interesting link between love and creativity. So there was a study done by Psychology Today magazine back in 2009. They did this thing where they took test subjects, and they had two groups come in, and they wired them up to all of the biofeedback things and everything, and they had one group imagine love. This first group, they visualized themselves in a romantic encounter. Warm, like warm weather, a stroll on the beach with someone they loved, romantic dinner, real loving feelings, and they really ramped that up. And then they took the second set of people, and they had them visualize a casual sex encounter. Someone, maybe a friend with benefits, or just someone that they just had sex with them. And then they also had to visualize going for a walk by themselves afterwards. And then they took them and they put them in a place where they tested how they did on the graduate entrance exam, the GRE exams. What they found, they came together, they took the same exams at the exact same time. What they found is that the people who had thought about love and romance were more creative. They were global thinkers. They made connections better. They were able to use their brains in ways that they didn't normally use them. The ones who thought about sex were more analytical and more linear. They were able to solve the logic problems faster. They were able to tap into that part of their brain where they could see step A, step B, step C. And they determined that that's because love releases dopamine in our brains, which allows for this creative thinking. And the sex releases testosterone, which causes the more analytical left brain thinking. Then what they found is the opposite is true. That when you are more creative, you release more dopamine, which makes you more predisposed to being in love. And when you are analytical, you release more testosterone, which makes you more predestined to those more aggressive tendencies that would lead to just sex. Nothing wrong with either one. But if we want to really be our own Valentine, we can honor our own creativity because that allows us to feel that love that maybe we only think about analytically. I mean, we all know what love's supposed to look like up here. It's harder to feel it all the time. So when we honor our creativity, we get to be in that environment more. So, however you're creative, take time for it. Make time for it. Don't let anything get in the way of your creative time. Whatever it is for you. I mean, I ended up having a technology nightmare yesterday, so I did not enhance my creativity. But I had planned the whole day to do nothing but cross-stitch. That's one of the things I love to do, to be creative. But it doesn't matter, coloring's big now. Go buy a coloring book. Whatever it is for you. Honor your creativity, and that's a great way to be your own Valentine. And then the last one, follow the path of least resistance. Follow the path of least resistance. How many times do you get up in the morning and really want to do the things you have to do that day? Like go skipping off to, yay, today's the day I get to go to work, and I get to deal with my boss, and I get to have a staff meeting. How many of us do that all that often? That's resistance. That, I don't want to do it is resistance. And the thing that's interesting is in our culture is that we frequently think that the way to get ahead, whether it's in a love relationship, whether it's in a work relationship, is to power through the resistance. Just gut it out, work hard, just keep on it. The path of least resistance is the path of most allowance. Let me say that again. The path of least resistance is the path of most allowance. So when we say, God, help me with this. Bring me the money I want. Bring me the job I want. Bring me the relationship I want. Bring me everything I want. Oh, this feels terrible, but that's okay because I've asked for it, so I'm going to stick it out. And we are actually putting resistance in the path, in the way of God, bringing us our good. And that is not a loving thing to do. It's causing us to work harder. It's like, pushing on the accelerator to get where we're going while we have the other foot pressed down on the brake. When we resistance, that's the message to stop. We're going in the wrong direction. Find something that feels easy. We have a no pain, no gain mentality. Like if it feels too easy, it can't be right. If it feels too easy, it just means it's easy. I have a phrase, no pain, no gain. I have my own phrase. No pain, no pain. Doesn't have to be hard. I was talking to my daughter about this. So Steve mentioned I'm going back to Pennsylvania, and as many of you know, my daughter has been accepted to dance in this thing at the Penn State University does every year. It's the largest student-run charity in the world. They raise over $13 million every year to help a fund that helps families who are facing pediatric cancer. And it's a 46-hour dance marathon. They call it Thon, T-H-O-N, Thon. And if you're friends with me on Facebook, you see I've been hitting you up for donations and everything. But this year, they had 25,000 applicants and 700 were chosen to dance. My daughter was one of them. It starts at 6 o'clock on this upcoming Friday night and goes until 4 o'clock on Sunday. No sitting, stopping, sleeping, nothing. She has to be moving and dancing, even if it's just like this, for 46 hours. So she and I were talking about this, and we were talking about this path of least resistance, and something came up that was really interesting. She's a senior, and she's looking for a job. She had an internship last summer. The internship was awesome. Loved it, but they didn't have a job at the end, but they kept saying, we want you back, we want you back, we want you back. Just let us wait and see how things look in the spring. Hopefully we'll bring you back on. That's our intention, right? She didn't trust it. So she got up all last fall. She was applying for jobs. She went to every job fair. She had her resume professionally done. She created all this stuff because she was interviewing and hated all of it. She'd call me like depressed. Oh, I don't want to get this job. I have an interview with this place and I don't really want it. It pays $85,000 a year, but I don't think I'm going to like it. I'm like, they're hiring? Oh, it's in Philadelphia. Anyway, but I kept saying, what about this other company? Why are you working so hard? Well, they don't know if they have a job. They don't know. Like, what does your gut tell you? Well, I think they want me, but it feels lazy to do this. I gotta apply. Apply. Nothing. January 1st, she decided since she's dancing in the dance marathon this weekend, she was just gonna forget about it until after Thon. She could pick it up and hit it again. Just gonna forget about it. No resistance. She let go of all of her resistance to getting a job, all of her beliefs that she had to work hard, all of her trying to manage the process, all of her control issues, and I tell this story with permission, by the way, all of everything that she had wrapped up in getting a job, she let go and just followed the path of least resistance by not worrying about it. Training for the dance marathon, going to the dinners in honor of the dancers, enjoying all of that. 2 weeks or a week and a half ago, the director of HR at this company called her, asked her to come in. 2 jobs are available. The director of HR at this company has circled in red on her calendar the date my daughter graduates from college. Because they so want her in there, they now have 2 jobs available. They aren't interviewing anyone else. It's just which of these 2 jobs does she write for? All she did was walk in the door, sit down with the HR manager. She's got a job. That's all. She could have not resisted all fall, had fun and enjoyed her life, and had the exact same outcome. She learned to love herself enough to allow. And the only thing that did it is because she was doing this big dance marathon. So she's thinking, okay, this is going to be grueling and hard, and I got to really take care of myself. So she let go. So when we follow the path of least resistance, that's the loving thing we do for ourselves. If you read any book on the connection between health and our attitude, resistance is the cause of every disease. Heart disease, cancer, MS, you name it. Some sort of resistance to our good is the cause. So when we are our own Valentine, when we love ourselves, we trust, we let go, and we follow the path of least resistance. We trust that there is a power and a presence that loves us, and that lives in us, and that we tap into it and express as it, not wait for someone else to bring it to us. And so on this Valentine's Day, please enjoy your sweetheart and go be a Valentine with them, but be your own Valentine first. So remember that you want to romance yourself. You want to embrace and honor your creativity. And you want to follow the path of least resistance. And if you show up that way every day, you're your own Valentine. And by the law of attraction, everything else you want becomes magnetized to you because you're living from that place of love. Let's pray. So recognizing the love that is in this room, the love that lives in each of us, the love that is the love of God. I breathe into that place in me, and I invite you to breathe into that place in you where you feel love. Not where we think it, not where we intellectually know it, but where we feel it. That place in me that goes, oh, every time I see a puppy. That place of love. And as we make friends with that place within us, we recognize that we are making friends with the God within. We are making friends with the capital S self. We are making friends with that all-powerful energy that lives as us and through us. As we breathe into that place and make friends with that life in us, that love in us, we know that there is something greater than us operating and conspiring for our greater good at all times. I recognize for each person here that there is a unique gift living in them that is born of this love. And I know for all of us that we go forward into the rest of the day today, Valentine's Day, as well as this week, and the rest of our lives, anchored in love, knowing we are love. There is nothing missing in us. The love we seek is already here. It is already in us. And we enhance it by giving it, not by grasping it. And so I just know for each person present that this love permeates all that they do, that they are energized by this love and magnetized by this love, so that every good thing, which also vibrates at the energy of love, is drawn and attracted to them. And the more love we feel and the more love we project, the more love we get in the form of every good thing we could possibly desire. And so I know for each person here that this is a new reality. We now have a new mindset on this. We now have a new understanding of who and whose we are. We have a new understanding of our ability to be love in the world. And on this Valentine's Day, we have a new dedication to being our own Valentine first, loving ourselves unconditionally. And so I just give thanks for this understanding. I give thanks for this thought. I give thanks for my words that are coming through me, speaking out into a law that is perfect, that manifests everything before it is even spoken. The moment it is felt, it is done in the vibrational reality. And we just stand back and allow it to come into form in our world. And so giving thanks for the gifts of each person and the unique consciousness of each person and that beautiful co-creative process that takes place as we come together in spiritual community. I just proclaim this Valentine's Day good. I proclaim it blessed. I proclaim it filled with love. And I let that be so with a heart full of gratitude. I release it, knowing that all is truly well. And we anchor this together by saying,